What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday, and as you guys know, it is 9/11. So before we get into actually weather stuff, I do want to have an intro really just focused on 9/11 here. It's been 19 years since the attacks in New York City, the Pentagon, and Flight 93 here. So really, if you know anybody that lost their lives in 9/11, I'm really sorry. And if you know anybody that was a first responder, your family or friends, I want to thank you guys and thank them personally. Whether they survived or if they sadly lost their life, they were still heroes. So I really just want to take a couple seconds in the intro to talk about 9/11 and just say pay tributes to the people who we lost. First responders, people in the tower and the planes. It's really sad and it's something that usually, you still can't get over it, even though it happened 19 years ago. But now let's get into the weather stuff. So in this video, we're going to be talking about a lot. Here we're taking the peak of the season here. We now have tropical depression 19 here that have just formed over the Bahamas and can very well be tropical storm Sally before it hits Florida. Tropical storm watches have actually been issued already for the southeastern coast for areas of Florida. I bet you guys did not see that coming, and it could very well possibly form into a stronger tropical storm, if not maybe even weak Category 1 in the Gulf, and possibly make landfall between Louisiana border with Mississippi here. Also watching Paulette, as Paulette could possibly become maybe a Category 2, if not even a major hurricane, Category 3 force winds, and possibly take aim, if not make landfall for Bermuda. So if you're in Bermuda, I would definitely keep a close eye on this. Obviously, as well, we're watching 95L as the chances have increased once again. I believe a 90% chance for 5 days. So that can very well possibly be a tropical storm Teddy, and can very well even be a hurricane as well. A lot of the models and intensity are showing this to possibly be a very big hurricane, the one that just came off Africa. And then obviously we have tropical storm Rene, obviously as well. Just keeping in mind, but that's possibly going to weaken and go out and possibly not even hitting any land. So Rene is the least of concerns here. Both after this tropical forecast. So here's looking at the National Hurricane Center. As you see, there it is, Tropical Depression 19. A lot of people did not see that, but actually, I kind of somewhat saw it being a tropical depression today because of the conditions here. And this thing has really organized and even strengthened a good bit. Now here at 35 miles an hour. This thing was 25 miles an hour just this morning. So it has strengthened a good bit. As you see, it actually has slowed down. It was moving west-northwest at 10 miles an hour, but now it's moving west-northwest at 8 miles an hour. And that slowdown could very well help it maybe form into a borderline tropical storm before Florida. So I would not doubt if Sally forms just before affecting Florida, mainly the Miami and Homestead area and southeastern general areas that had tropical storm watches, and is now 1,009 millibars. Paulette at 65 miles an hour, so it is definitely getting its ads together. It has dropped a lot pressure-wise. It has dropped, I believe, 8 millibars since my last video. It's now at 989 millibars and going to be taking aim for Bermuda. It could very well be a Category 2, if not Category 3 hurricane, and it could very well just skin, if not hit, Bermuda. And there's been a lot of a western trend here that has shifted towards Bermuda. So the probability for a Bermuda landfall has increased throughout today. Rene still weakening now at 40 miles an hour and 1,004 millibars. This thing is basically falling apart and could be tropical depression rather soon, but that's not what the National Hurricane Center predicts. And it is moving west-northwest at 14 miles an hour. And here's 95L at a 90% chance for the next 5 days and a 70% chance for 48 hours. So this could be Sally as early as 11 p.m. tonight, if not overnight hours. So this could be a tropical storm very soon. And then this could possibly be Teddy in the next maybe 36 hours here. So this could very well form within the next 48 hours. And then we got another disturbance there at 40%. That's probably going to go out to sea here. But this soon to be possibly Teddy is going to be possibly a very big threat, in my opinion, for the Caribbean, even the southeastern coast of the U.S., because a lot of models are taking it to be in a major hurricane, and that could definitely lead to some concerns here for portions of inland areas in the western Atlantic. So let's take a look at Tropical Depression 19. I bet a lot of people were not even aware of this. I know people were aware that it's an invest, but this actually could very well be a decent threat here. Not for Florida. I mean, it could possibly bring maybe 40 miles an hour for Florida, a wind gust, and it may even form right before hitting Florida. As you see, this thing has blown a lot in convection and has now a very well-defined low pressure or broad thunderstorms. And as you see, it's really trying to close off, but this thing didn't look too good this morning. I mean, it looked good for a non-invest, but now this is the tropical depression. I mean, it's gotten a lot better looking. And you see, we're even seeing some pinks popping up, and this is only a tropical depression here. This is going to be very, very interesting to watch. It could very well possibly become Tropical Storm Sally right before hitting the areas of Florida. Let's look at visible satellite imagery. It looks a lot better. Some nice outflow on this, decent outflow, nice banding, especially for the eastern quadrants here. I mean, this is not too shabby, and it could possibly be a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. So this could be a very, very unexpected U.S. Gulf Coast hurricane landfall. I'm thinking it could possibly be a Category 1 maximum Category 2. I say that because the conditions are very favorable. There's very too little no shear. This thing already has a moisture bubble, and there's very warm waters, 30 to 31 degrees Celsius here. So I think this could definitely be a hurricane. National Hurricane Center predicts, I believe, only a tropical storm, but I think that could very well change, especially if it's going to continue to organize and strengthen at the rate it is. I think it could definitely be named at least by tomorrow morning, maybe even 11 p.m. tonight. So I wouldn't doubt if we have Sally very soon. But you see, there's that low pressure between the Big Island and between Florida, and you see it definitely has some nice banding here. It looks pretty good. You can definitely see there's a nice amount of outflow here. A lot of outflow. I mean, this looks pretty good in my opinion for just becoming a tropical depression. This is now what we're looking at. I believe this is Tropical Storm Paulette. And as you see, it is starting to lose a little convection here. I mean, it blew up just recently. I see it blew up right there, but it could be going through a new phase of trying to find its low pressure. Could be a Juro minimum at this point, and maybe it could be a Juro maximum by tonight. So we see very frequently storms fall apart convection-wise during the day, and then they just start blowing up. Then the Juro maximum at night. So it seems like Paulette has lose a good amount of convection, but I wouldn't be surprised if it looks very good by the end of tonight here. And this is actually Tropical Storm Rene. As you see, it's definitely popped up, and it actually has gotten a lot more convection compared to last night and earlier today. I mean, this thing had like a little speck of convection a couple hours ago. Definitely has made a comeback. A lot of improvement, but really it's just not impressive at this point. It really isn't too impressive. I mean, especially for a tropical storm, but it could keep its act together. And then we got Invest 95L here. Very broad area of low pressure, and you see a decent amount of convection to the south of this low pressure. That's kind of where we're seeing those little thunderstorms, but really 95L isn't too impressive, but it could very well get its act together, as it could very well form within the next 48 hours, if less. So let's check out the first National Hurricane Center cone here and timing for Tropical Depression 19L. As you see, tropical storm watches have been issued all the way from Homestead and Key Largo, I believe, all the way up into the areas of up to Fort Lauderdale and even Hollywood, Florida there. I believe it's just south of West Palm Beach, but the National Hurricane Center only predicts to be a tropical depression landfall for Florida. I think it definitely has a good chance to become a tropical storm. This thing is continuing to slow down here. It's now over waters. It was over a lot of the Bahama Islands earlier today. I think it could very well become a tropical storm. I mean, it only needs 5 more miles an hour. It's at 35 miles an hour. It just needs technically 5 more to be 40 miles an hour, a borderline tropical storm. I think it could definitely do that before making landfall. I mean, this is moving 8 miles west-northwest, and I'd say it's a pretty good 70, 80 miles from the coast here. So it actually has a lot of time, a good 9 hours until landfall, and that has plenty of time to strengthen 5 miles an hour, and that could change the whole cone. If it becomes a tropical storm before a landfall in Florida, this could change the whole strength for the future. That is, you see, the National Hurricane Center predicts this only being a tropical storm, but making landfall in the Mississippi and Louisiana border. Actually, it might make landfall right into Mississippi here on the border. But I'm thinking that this cone will move more north and to the point where it's a Mississippi landfall. I'm thinking it's gonna possibly go like this. Actually, that's not what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking is going to possibly happen here, where it kind of just makes a landfall in Mississippi, not too far from Louisiana. I think that because I'm thinking this could be stronger than the National Hurricane Center shows. I see this possibly being a Category 1, maximum Category 2. Because look, this is going to be moving rather slow. Look how much it'll move in 12 hours, just this much. That is very slow. And we got very warm waters and very little to no shear here, and it should continue to have its moisture bubble. So really almost very good conditions here. So definitely watching out from Apalachicola all the way up into New Orleans. Once again, maybe another landfall. This could actually possibly, guys, be a hurricane. I know the National Hurricane Center isn't showing that, but we all know the National Hurricane Center always downcast storms right when they become tropical depression. They always go tropical storms and then they become hurricanes. So this could be a very unexpected hurricane landfall for the U.S. Gulf Coast. It could very well be a Category 1 high-end tropical storm. It could be really around that range, but I'm thinking it could possibly be a hurricane landfall for the Louisiana and Mississippi border. Maybe more, technically maybe right into Mississippi, but not too far from the state lines from Louisiana. That's what I'm thinking here, but going to continue to monitor this. And could it be Tropical Storm Sally at 11 p.m. tonight? That's exactly what we'll be asking. But as you see, a lot of these are showing it moving pretty, kind of speeding up a little bit as it goes over land and then slowing down a good bit. Look, 48 hours to 72 hours. I mean, that's very slow. But as you see, models, a lot of the models are starting to agree. I'm pretty glad they're agreeing here, so it won't make my job any harder. But as you see, a lot of these are showing it making like landfall right on the Mississippi River. Sorry, right on the Mississippi border. We have 1, 2, 3 getting this on the Mississippi border, actually into Mississippi, and then going to Louisiana. I'm thinking it's going to make landfall anywhere around here. It may make landfall for Biloxi. I actually don't know how to pronounce that. Biloxi, maybe even areas of the parish in the islands there of eastern Louisiana. As you see, this is kind of our general idea of where this could make landfall. Florida, Alabama, that probably won't happen. Panhandle. Florida's going to get hit. Miami might get hit. Maybe a borderline tropical storm. So this could be a very unexpected tropical storm landfall for southeastern Florida. It almost reminds us of Gordon. This basically is almost an exact Gordon track and exact strength. So we all remember Gordon. And then tropical depression 19 intensity guidance. As you see, we have a lot of models getting into a very high-end tropical storm. And then 2 getting into a hurricane. I think these will continue to go higher. We all know models start to downcast storms right when they become tropical depressions and invest. So I think if this does become, and actually this actually hasn't reloaded. This is actually still showing it at 30 miles an hour. It's actually at 35 miles an hour right here. So it's probably going to go even higher. They're probably going to be this is probably going to be a lot higher, or not a lot higher, but probably higher. More models getting into Category 1 since this is when it was at 30 miles an hour. It's at 35 now. And I think if this forms before Florida, becoming Sally right before Florida, 40 miles an hour, I think definitely a good and more models will get to Category 1. I know, hear me out, I do think this has a good chance to become a hurricane once it goes out in the Gulf. Let's check out now Paulette, our really big topic here. As you see, National Hurricane Center just getting super duper close to Bermuda, a lot closer than they were yesterday. Look at that. Almost, actually, it could be making just a landfall in that far southern part of Bermuda there. I believe near Hamilton. Near Hamilton, Bermuda, right on that far western area of land from Bermuda, and it could very well be a Category 2 landfall. Even models like GFS, I believe even CMC, should this being a Category 3. GFS has been pretty good so far on Paulette with kind of forecast. GFS has been showing this being a major hurricane. Just missing Bermuda for around 2 days, and the National Hurricane Center also agrees with that now. So I've seen that the GFS did very good, or so far is doing good on Paulette, but we will see. But look at that wind extent. Really, that's a very large wind field. It's about the size of Hispaniola, if not a little larger. So that's a very, very large wind extent there. And as you see, it could be a tropical, or it could be a hurricane tomorrow early afternoon, and then possibly make landfall, if not just skinny Bermuda, possibly Monday. So Monday is the day we can either see huge impacts or a direct landfall on Bermuda. And this could be a hurricane as far as Wednesday. It could be a very long-lasting tropical system. As you see, Bermuda's underneath all of these models. You can barely even see Bermuda. Actually, you can see you can kind of see Bermuda right there. It's in between all of those tracks. I think a Bermuda landfall could actually happen. This kind of reminds me of Umberto. Yeah, I know Umberto was like obviously like further. This track's not even close to what Umberto did. I'm saying strength wise. This kind of reminds me of Umberto. And you see models get this to tropical from 12 hours or 36 hours. So it's going to be a hurricane very soon. And it's going to go straight through Category 1. It's going to possibly just go straight through Category 1 winds. As you see, becoming a hurricane, most show like around 24 hours. And then being a Category 2 in like 60 hours. So that's extreme strengthening. And a lot of models are showing Category 2. And we even have 2 models getting to a Category 3. But look at all these models that are super close to Category 3. All of these are not too far off from the Category 3 force winds. I think a couple more eventually get to the Category 3 winds. But look at that. Category 2, that's still very significant, especially for Bermuda, an island that isolated. Category 2 is still going to do a lot of damage here. So I think either way, Bermuda definitely has to be on the lookout. And then last but not least, we do have Rene, and as you see, Rene is going to be some weird looking track. As you see, going to start going due northwest, and then like do like a weird loop, and then head straight west. So I'm not exactly sure if that's going to impact the chances of landfall from Rene, but really it's super far out to really say it. And a lot of models are getting this dying. I mean, a lot of models are saying this dying as early as 12 hours of this dying. As early as 12 hours or as late as around 84 hours. But a lot of models are getting this to weakening and become post-tropical. So we're just going to really have to wait and see. Tracks, this is most likely the cone. This is actually for 95L, guys. This is 95L, the one with the 90% chance. And as you see, a lot of models are kind of going this due west, heading straight for the Caribbean, and then taking that last very big northwestern shift. Does that mean it's going to go out to sea? I really don't think it's going to take that big shift to the north, but we will see and wait and see. That it's very far out from getting to the Caribbean. As you see, this could possibly be named in around 24 hours to 48 hours. So it's going to be named within the next 48 hours or less. So kind of 95L and 19L are fighting for Sally. I do think I do think that Tropical Depression 19 might beat them, because they're already at 35 miles an hour. They just need 5 more miles an hour, and they're going to be over water for around 9-10 hours. So I think it definitely has time to be Tropical Storm Sally. And it could be Tropical Storm Sally, I mean, very, very soon here. Anywhere from the next 6 to the next 18 hours. And then you see for 95, they kind of show around 24 hours. So I think Tropical Depression 19 might just beat 95L on being Sally. So this could very well be Teddy. And look, a lot of models are getting to a Category 2. I mean, that's pretty significant. But I see a lot, this is just skyrocketing here. The majority show this getting to a tropical storm. And then we have a good amount of models getting to a Category 1. And then we have a good amount of models getting to Category 2. And we even have 2 models getting to Category 3. And the Hawaiian models getting to Category 4. So I think for this being so far out, I mean, they're only showing Category 2s and 3s. I mean, I think Sally is not Sally. I think soon to be Teddy, most likely soon to be Teddy, or 95L. I think 95L. I have a feeling that 95L will be significant. I just have a feeling conditions should clear out. I really think that this has a good chance to be a major hurricane. I just have a bad feeling about it. I'm not using my gut feeling on this. I'm also saying conditions will clear out, which is exactly why I think it could be significant. There's going to be very little shear. Rene and Paulette did a good job clearing that out there. We obviously see a very warm, continue to see those warming waters in the MDR, which is exactly why September is the peak. Yesterday was the official peak of the hurricane season, and you know why it's the peak? Because that's where we have the warmest and most widespread warm waters, and we're already seeing 29 and 30 degrees Celsius starting to pop up for the western MDR, which is where this will go. So I really think there's a good chance it could possibly be very significant. So let's go check out what we have right now. As you see, we have Paulette, Rene continuing to fall apart, and then we got there's 95L at 1,009 millibars. As you see, GFS shows possibly tropical depression 19 just forming right before 95L, but look at that, just blowing up. Paulette could be 976 millibars in 24 hours. As you see, GFS shows Rene kind of dying. And then GFS shows possibly Sally at 1,006 millibars, 1,007 millibars, and then possibly hitting not New Orleans, Louisiana in general. But look at what we have here: 968 millibars, 969 millibars, just missing Bermuda here. Let's actually get a closer look at this. Just missing it. But look at the winds here. There's definitely be some winds there. As you see, look at that, up to 80 knots. Or sorry, up to 80 miles an hour here. This is a knot. Up to 80 knots for portions of that far western area of Bermuda. I mean, look at that. Bermuda is definitely going to get winds no matter what. If this makes a direct landfall, if it's going to skin. I do think Paulette will make landfall in Bermuda. I think it can make a direct landfall. But look at that. So that's going to be showing up to right there, actually around 65 knots, not 80 knots. I apologize, not 65 knots. Not 80 knots, 65 knots. So around 80 miles an hour. That's where I got confused. So it could be seeing still Category 1 force winds for Bermuda, which is still pretty significant for Bermuda and even in general. And then you see Teddy, maybe Teddy, but this is right now. This is 95L. But this could very well be Teddy since since Tropical Depression 19 might get Sally first. And I see it just blows up 990 millibars, then 973, 963, 971 starts to weaken a little bit, then 962, and wow, the GFS is going out to sea here. I mean, 958 millibars. This is going to be a monster storm here based on the GFS here. And like I said, I really got a bad feeling about its strength and how it can be very significant. I'm not sure about that northern trend. I'm not sure about it doing that. I have a feeling it's gonna very well go this way. That's just what I think there. But obviously we will have to see here what they have. Check out the CMC and what they have here for the 12Z. As you see, CMC also shows TD19 forming first to Sally and possibly being 1,006 millibars. And as you look at that, I mean, CMC as well just going. CMC just missed. Actually, oh wow, CMC actually shows a landfall for Bermuda. So you see, CMC has been fairly accurate this year. And look at that. There's Bermuda, 983, 980. So it actually shows landfall, but as a weaker storm, as a Category 2 most likely. But still, I mean, just look at that. That's going to be pretty. That's still a potential threat, obviously, for Bermuda. I mean, CMC, that's still one model that shows a landfall. And GFS is just skinning Bermuda. And as you see, it's something very weird. The CMC shows 95L going way out there to sea there, and then just stalling, which I find very, very odd. Let's check out shear, as I've been mentioning shear a lot in this video. As you see, it seems like Paulette and Rene have done a very good job clearing out shear for the MDR. I mean, look at that. Look at very little shear now. Pockets up to 0 knots, which is going to possibly help 95L thrive. And look at that. No shear. Areas of no shear in the Eastern Gulf. And the low pressures between the Big Island and Florida give very little to no shear in that general area for the areas that are near Tropical Depression 19L. Look at that. This thing's right here. The low pressure's right there. Up to 0 knots for some areas. And look at the whole Eastern Gulf of Mexico. Nothing. Nada. There's nada, bruh. But look at that. I mean, still nothing. Like maximum, there's going to be maximum 25 knots. I mean, that's going to be the maximum. And it's not going to be getting near the low pressure. So that's why I'm saying definitely going to be a big threat here. Or sorry, not big threat, but could possibly be stronger than the National Hurricane are showing. I do think this could I think Tropical Depression 19 could very well become a hurricane. And I mean, look at that. I mean, somehow Paulette's going to get through that shear. It's going to be developing a bubble there and that low pressure, which is going to avoid that shear getting in the low pressure. And it's going to be, I mean, just blowing up there. And then we should start to have pockets, slowly have pockets of the MDR so they open up with no shear, which is going to help bring in more favorable conditions for the MDR. I mean, look at that. That's a whole pocket from Africa to Yucatan Peninsula. There's like nothing. And if something does form if something comes off Africa at that point, it's going to be a really impressive show, and it can very well be very impressive. But guys, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and hope you guys do continue to enjoy your 9/11 days. So, like I said in the intro, if any family members or friends that you know were first responders, I want to just say personally thank you to you and to them. I just really respect the fact that they just went out there, and it's just really crazy what happened. And if you lost anybody 9/11, I really do apologize. I'm sorry for your loss. I really am. And I mean, it's just, you know, I can't really put into words how to express if you lost anybody 9/11. I really can't. But I'm really just hoping you guys can just get through the day there. And yeah, bye guys.